Hello and welcome back to episode 8 of the Font Forecast. My name is Mike Owens. That man there is Rob Font, and we're back to give you your weekend's preview of the action in the UFC. Rob, how are you, my man?
Great, brother. I'm great. How you doing?
I'm very well, very well. We're back off a couple of weeks absent, or a week's absence, I should say. We unfortunately missed out on the UFC 289 cards, but we're back to preview this upcoming fight between Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier.
Yeah,
Initial thoughts on the fight. What are your thoughts?
man, I love this fight. Awesome fight. They have amazing nicknames. You got the what is it? What is it? The Italian? What's his name?
The Italian Dream versus the Killer Gorilla.
Italian versus what's it? Killer Gorilla. Like, come on, man. These guys are killers, man. Like, I wish I had a nickname that's cool, man. But yeah, great fight.
Can we talk about that while we've got you? Why was there never a Rob Font nickname? Was the one that you maybe got that you didn't like? What happened there?
No, I just never kind of came up. Like it was I thought it was kind of corny if you just nickname your own self. So I always figured like you need like somebody else to kind of give you a nickname or you earn your nickname. So I just never I guess never earned one or never got one. But I know I just wasn't. I guess I'm too shy to kind of make my own nickname. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna call myself this, but never had one, never been called one. They obviously my name's Rob. I mean Robert, but people call me Rob, but that's the closest to, or they call me Font, but that's the closest to a nickname. But yeah, no nickname. But these dudes have sweet nicknames. You know what I'm saying? Like look at that. Like, but again, big fight. They've been at the top of the division for forever. They both fought up Izzy. They both fought Whitaker. They've been around again for a while. They're both they're both kind of patient too. They're kind of boxing heavy, but they still throw kicks, kind of like similar to me. Like I don't just box, I do kicks, but like they're not like big, heavy kicks kind of guys. They're gonna sit there. They're gonna throw a bunch of punches. They're both gonna kind of be patient. I see both of them, being defensively sound until they have to obviously turn it up a little bit more. I think you got to give the power to Jared. That guy's. You look at his back; he's just huge. And then I think the output you would have to give it to Vettori. I think he puts out a little more, but doesn't have that much power. I think Cannonier kind of mixes it up a little more and more with the feints, the level changes. He'll switch it up a little bit. It's a tough fight to kind of call. They're both saying like they're not really heavy on the wrestling. I think Vettori kind of has a edge on that as far as if it does hit the ground, but I think it is going to be hard to take Jared down. I think the victory for Vettori is going to be mixing it up, taking him down, getting on top, wearing him out. For Jared, it's going to be obviously stopping a takedown, getting a little busier with his hands, having Vettori back up, landing those big power shots, keep level changes, mixing up the stances, and then obviously stopping that takedown. Again, easier said than done. It's another great fight, but I think I'm going with Jared on this one, winning by decision.
Interesting. It's a bit of a strange fight because both guys have got a one-fight win streak. We both saw significant vulnerabilities in the last fight. We have the split decision, Jared Cannonier over Sean Strickland, and we have the unanimous decision for Marvin Vettori over Roman Dolidze, but that was a fight where he took quite a lot of punishment early.
Yeah.
For me, this is one of those fights where if it looks clean and technical, I'm going to give the edge to Jared Cannonier because he's able to fight in that very technical, kind of slow the pace down a little bit and really fight very technically. If it's more of a slugfest, I think I'm going Marvin Vettori because that's where Marvin thrives, is in that take one to give one type of range.
I think Marvin's definitely going. If it comes down to like you said, that's drag him out slugfest. I think he's going to be able to like push the cardio more. I think he'll be able to just have more once they both get tired. I think obviously Jared needs to, like you said, be a little more technical, clean, add the volume with the power, and it could be a pretty simple night for him. He keeps kind of just rinsing, repeating. Not the same shots, but similar shots that kind of keep him backing up, letting for that power, making him back up, and then being smart with his footwork when Marvin does kind of strike back. So another great main event going down to Apex. It is a smaller cage, so so you got to play with that too. Like like you feel those power shots a lot more when you don't have big ass cage to kind of move around more. So man, I just think it's Jared's time. I think he needs to kind of like again, he's getting a little older. I love the story, military background. His wife's kind of holding him down. I can relate to that. So it's kind of like, I think it's his time. He's got to kind of like get it right. And I think saying this is a great opponent for him.
I 100% agree. Sorry, my lighting has just went a little bit funny.
All good.
Technical difficulty there at my lighting, apologies. But one thing you mentioned there is the point I wanted to raise is the age of these two fighters. So despite having more experience, Vettori is 10 years younger than Jared Cannonier. He has more fights in the octagon, more fights in total, I think possibly more fights in the octagon, but he's a decade younger. His body's a decade less tired. And that's my reason why I'm going to go with Marvin Vettori. And this one is, if it does get to 3, 4, and 5, as we've talked about, if it's a technical fight, then it favours Cannonier. But if we're in those later rounds, then you've got to kind of favour the younger man.
Yeah, definitely, especially with like you said, the age, those later rounds, the cardio push. But Jared's gonna win this one, man. I don't care what you say.
So what are you going for? Are you going for decision or are you going for KO?
Decision. Yeah. I think it's gonna be hard to KO Marvin, man. Even when he gets hit with clean shots, he laughs at you. He's right there, right back in there. He's been in there with some real solid strikers, and he does, so it's like it's not easy to get him out of there. I do believe he has the power. Jared does have the power to do it, but it's not gonna be easy. So I think I'm leaning more on the decision.
I would be more correct me if I'm wrong. I would be more confident betting on this fight going the distance than I would on betting on one of the two fighters. I'm pretty confident this goes 25 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, they've both been in there with some high level guys. They've seen it. They're both hungry. They're both coming off of W's. They want that. They need that. Saying especially you need those 2 to 3 back to back in the UFC. So I know that one was cool, but they need to kind of just stack up more W's on top of that. So they're both in that same position. They're similar fighting styles in a sense of like they don't do too much as far as like they don't like make too many mistakes and they don't open themselves up for too much, but that also kind of like it kind of could hurt them in the sense of like there's not many openings at the creating because they're not giving up openings either, so but man, it's easy to say that when you don't have Jared throwing bombs at you or so it's it's easy for me to say that here, but I think they both need to kind of do a little bit more. But I'm rocking with Jared on this one.
I'm going to go with Marvin Vettori. I think the output and the kind of pace that he's going to try and put on Jared Cannonier might just be a little bit too much. And one thing we know about Vettori is his game. He's not going to, even if he gets done with a big shot, he's going to keep walking forward. And I think that might just get him over the line. The next point I kind of want to mention is if we look, the last person to defeat Marvin Vettori or Jared Cannonier that wasn't Israel Adesanya or Robert Whittaker was 5.5 years ago. And that was Dominic Reyes when Jared Cannonier was all the way back up at light heavyweight. These guys don't lose to either the champion or the former champion. So what does that say about how much that Adesanya and Whittaker have got ahead of the rest of the division?
Man, it proved that there's levels to this, man. There's levels to this. Those guys are that good. And they kind of make not I don't want to say easy, but they make it look pretty like one-sided when they it's like so it's like it's impressive, man, to see like what Izzy can do, how he can do it to these guys, and then and I have been in the locker room with Izzy in my last fight, and I watched him, and like he's so confident. He's it's not even like an act, like he just knows what he's about to go out there and do. Like it's crazy to kind of see like even just see the swag, the confidence, the prep, saying him kind of walking in, like how he kind of just controls the room. Like it's like he knows, and you can see it when he fights, and then obviously you got Whittaker, the same thing. Like those guys are just so much better, and like you can learn a lot from those guys. And yeah, it's just, and then like you saw like those two made, saying these two look pretty average, and they're not. It just looks like it,
Well, that's the point, isn't it? This main event is number 3 versus number 4 in the world. Both guys have lost to the current champion. In Vettori's case, he's lost twice to Adesanya. So I'm wondering what you think is up for grabs in this fight, because you wouldn't presume a title fight for either guy is too near. So what do you think is up for grabs for the winner?
Man, that's exactly, it's a tough spot because it's like they're not just going to skyrocket to the championship after this fight. Obviously it's just to get in there and can do what we love, compete and win, and prove to yourself that you're the best. Go out there, perform, and knowing that okay, eventually I'm going to get back to that title shot. So these guys are just putting this in their pocket. Whoever wins it, they're going to put it in their pocket, get back to the gym, and get ready to make and fix those mistakes they did make when they fought Whitaker or Israel Adesanya, and hopefully eventually get to that rematch, or whoever has that belt get back to that title shot.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Turning towards the co-main event, we've got Arman Tsarukyan versus Joaquim Silva. A little bit of surprise when I saw this fight was booked, because I thought Tsarukyan, coming off the run that he's on, having just beat Ismagulov and being in the top 10, might be going towards the title shot. But he's won 6 of his last 7. I think a lot of people have got a lot of high hopes for Arman Tsarukyan. Just your thoughts on him in this overall fight against Joaquim
And
Silva?
Arman is super technical. He's aggressive, great wrestling, great striking, real creative. He'll spin, he'll punch, he'll kick. Once he gets on top of you, he's devastating ground and pound. It's just well-rounded athlete. Trains at ATT, so he's going to have a lot of obviously a lot of sparring, a lot of high-level coaches, a lot of high-level training partners to train with, amazing weather. So it's like there's no reason why not to get to the gym, So it's like it's that. Unfortunately, I guess he's like he fights everybody from ATT as well. So it's like that's the only hit, Nah, this kid, and again, a lot of hype on him. I'm stoked to see him fight. He made his debut versus champ and made a pretty competitive fight. So yeah, this is going to be a great fight. Silva, he brings it. Doesn't have that much experience. He kind of jumps in big on a lot of shots. He's kind of patient. He will switch his stance. But it doesn't seem anything that stands out. You're like, whoa, this guy's like, watch out, like the way like this. It's just that it's not that like wow factor yet.
Yeah.
But again, another tough fight. Arman is kind of like just a well-rounded, like creative, like just killer, man. You got to watch out for him, and I don't see him losing this fight at all. Like I don't see it.
I know he's about a -1,000 favourite, so neither do most people who are placing bets on this one. I think for me, this is almost a little bit of a showcase fight. This is, let's get Arman's obviously had the loss to Gamrot last year, which I personally thought that he deserved the victory in. He's come off the decision against Damir Ismagulov later on in the year. This is, let's get Arman Tsarukyan a highlight reel finish. Let's get back on the horse and get him building towards the top 10. And I genuinely believe he'll get Silva out.
It could be that, or this could be Silva's only guy that signed up to fight him too. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be one of those kind of scenario where they couldn't find a fight for him, and they just, all right, well, here we go. We got somebody that'll fight you. But yeah, I don't know, man. Looking at it, like I don't see it. I don't see how this plays out. And I I'm always rooting for the underdog or whatever, but it's just like this is a tall hill to climb, man. And he's just so sharp, so confident. He looks like he's in amazing shape. He's a solid athlete. He's quick. He's calm, and he knows what he wants to do. And when he gets on top, it's vicious, man. His ground and pound is vicious. He's consistently looking for bad positions to put you in, and he's relentless.
And what we've seen from the first fight at Makhachev, this might be a big statement, but I think if Arman Tsarukyan develops right and gets the right fights and the right experience, I do believe he's got all the skills, or can have all the skills, to beat the champion. I really do.
Yeah, he just needs he's needed time, he needs experience, and he's got that, and he just got to get back to that title shot. And if you look at it, he looks smoother and a lot more creative than the champ on standing and all that. So it's kind of like, yeah, it just comes down to that night. But like, this is an exciting fight. I don't see Silva winning this one.
If you don't see Silva winning, so you see Tsarukyan getting the nod, how do you see it? Is it knockout, submission, or decision?
I think he knocks him out in the second round. I think he knocks him out. I think it's going to be a great, entertaining fight. I mean, first round, I think he figures him out. And I think he gets him out of the second round for sure.
I agree. I think I'm going to go with submission. I think he's going to hurt him on the feet. Maybe get some kind of guillotine or dark choke or something like that after dropping him big. But if you're Silva, you know what you need to do. You need to come out big and you need to come out swinging, and you need to almost have. If you think about the loss that Islam Makhachev had to Adriano Martins in that upset all those years ago, that's the kind of performance that Silva needs to just come out all guns blazing and land something big. And if you know that, then there's a greater chance you can do that.
Yeah, he just got to just bite down, come forward, got nothing to lose, get in his face, try to make it dirty, because you can't sit there and be too technical with him. He's just that much better as far as technique. Now, if you make it ugly, rugged, anybody gets hit with certain shots, things happen, and that's his best way of winning this fight.
100%, 100%. Next fight I want to talk about is a fight that's taking place in your division. That's Miles Johns taking on Raoni Barcelos, prelim main event. It's always interesting to get your thoughts on the fights in your division, because obviously these guys are a little bit ranked below you, but I'm sure you've always still got your eye on them nevertheless, since it's could one day fight them. So what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, great fight, man. You got Jones. He's actually fought Adrian Yanez before. He's been around for a few. He's got a big right hand. He's also kind of like the short, stocky wrestler that doesn't like necessarily he's not as busy as most bantamweights you would assume would be. He's technical. I know he had some like ups and downs with his camp. I know he was training with James Carlos and those guys in Glory. So I know they had to he had to switch it up a little bit after that whole scenario went down. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily like his style that much. It's kind of like, yeah, it's cool.
It's a wrestle boxer style, isn't it? It's big overhands and double legs.
Yeah, it works. Obviously, I'm not saying it won't work. It's just not something I like as a fighter. I want to sit down and break down and learn and like figure out what he's doing and see if I can steal some of that technique. As a fan, you're like, okay, if he doesn't get the takedown, he's on. Saying he's throwing big punches. But then you got Ronnie. Like I think in the scramble, he's Ronnie's going to be just a step ahead of him. He can wrestle as well. He has jiu-jitsu background as well. Only thing I'm worried about is his chin. On this one, he got knocked out pretty bad the last one. He's aggressive. He's obviously he's not afraid to fight anybody. He'll fight whoever. The only hit on him, I want to give him. I'm giving him the decision on this one. He just can't get hit. I think he's better overall from the striking, wrestling, scrambling, the pressure. I just think if depending on how bad that last knockout is, if he can get hit by a big right hand from Jones, it's like that's his way to victory. But this is a tough fight for both of them. I do think Jones needs to pick it up a little bit more as far as the volume. And obviously, even if it is shooting more takedowns, giving more feints, more hands, to kind of get Barcelona just kind of like guessing and looking. But man, I see Ronnie winning the decision.
This fight to me hinges on how much has Raoni Barcelos got left in the tank. He's lost 3 of his last 4. At that fight, the loss to Valiev, the loss to Victor Henry, and then, as you mentioned there, the knockout loss to Arman Tsarukyan. So this is about how much it's, to me, pound for pound, Raoni Barcelos in his prime would beat Miles Johns in his prime. The question is Raoni Barcelos still in his prime? And if he's not, can Johns, as you mentioned there, he's also got a very good left hook to the body, straight into the overhand right. He's got a good jab, good chain wrestling. It's whether the current version of Johns can beat perhaps a weathered version of Barcelos. If it's not a weathered version of Barcelos, then skill for skill, I give him the edge.
Yeah, great fight though. They're gonna bring it. I know they're gonna bring it. They're obviously entertained. I don't see them. They're not gonna get tired. They're not gonna gas out. It's gonna be a great fight. I think the first round is gonna be more of a fill him out. I think Ronnie picks it up a little more in the second round. But I do see it going to a decision. And the only way, I think Jones wins is by a big right hand, putting him out and getting him out of there.
One last fight I'd like to highlight on this card, because there is an English fighter on the card, is Christian Leroy Duncan. I don't know if you know too much about CLD, Rob, but I actually covered his last fight on the regional scene in person. I covered his second Cage Warriors title defense back in November. He's 8-0 with 7 finishes, extremely good striking. I think he has knockouts via spinning back kick, spinning at elbow, and flying knee. To just give you an idea of how athletic the guy is. He's taken on Arman Tsarukyan, who's a world champion level kickboxer. But I do think CLD is going to get the job done. And
he's the Cage Warrior champ, right?
Cage Warriors middle champion. So he made his debut on the UFC London card in March, and his opponent blew his knee out in the first round. So he never really got that statement win in his debut, but he was looking very good. So this feels a little bit more like his breakout moment.
Kind of coming through. That's huge, man. It's huge for England. That's huge for Cage Warriors, man. Do you go to those shows often?
So the majority of them shows take place in the south of England, where there's more people. When they come up north, we do try and make a lot of it. There's a lot of guys out of Paddy the Baddies and Molly's gym, who's from my city, who fight on those cards. So we try and cover the regional guys as they come up and hopefully make it to the big leagues one day.
Yeah, and I got. I'm definitely paying attention to that. When I know when I was researching, I looked. I know he's fighting, obviously out of England. So like it's pretty cool to see you guys just constantly producing more and more and more. Saying fighters and potential contenders.
Out of interest, is there a particular English fighter that's your favorite? It's the one that you look at and go, I like watching his style.
It was always Dan Hardy, man. It was always Dan. That left hook was something serious. He had like that the mindset. He had like it was definitely Dan Hardy, man. Like, you can't go against him,
man. No Ian Entwistle.
Oh man, he was cool too. He was cool too, man. He was the man. Oh man, I was supposed to, man. I really would have loved to see how that fight would have played out, man. I was, what's funny, I was like, that was probably the most nervous I was for a fight. Out of all my fights was him. It was just that awkward, like he's only gonna die for my legs, and I gotta stay there. I gotta like I was on the floor that whole camp just dealing with leg locks and footholds, and which would force me to get better and I started attacking. But like I was nervous, like man, this is one of those weird, funky fights. And then he was out there, and then like obviously the fight didn't happen. I was pissed, but then I was kind of like, all right, maybe this is for the better, whatever. Like it's trying to be positive, whatever, because this is the first time you're actually really feeling nervous, or maybe it was better that you didn't fight him. So, but yeah, nah, man, Dan Hardy over Ian Edwards all day, baby.
I love it. Well, I probably got to ask you. It only makes sense to finish our episode on you, because there's been a lot of rumors since we last recorded about a potential fight with a certain kung fu monkey, if memory serves. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Is there anything official or?
So yeah, it's still obviously it's being talked about for a reason, but it's not official yet. That's the only thing that sucks. Is kind of like like obviously there's like the contracts are being negotiated right now as far as I got a new 4-fight deal, so we're just kind of going through that. They offered obviously Song Yadong in Boston August 19th, which obviously verbally we agreed to instantly. I'm pretty sure he agreed to it as well. Just the final last, I would say we're like 70% there to kind of like finish it off. It hasn't happened yet. Sean Shelby and those guys, they're awesome, but they're busy, so it's kind of like it's not that like they're not worried about it. They know my side's down, they know his side down. I think they're just waiting to kind of like get to us because they still have a bunch of other cards to kind of figure out. So it's I think it's more of a waiting part. I think it's pretty much good. I'm pretty sure that I don't see why he would say no. I know he shared a couple of Instagram posts the other day. So like eventually, obviously he's down. Just not 100% yet, but once it does, we will be going live for sure.
No, 100%. Would it be fair to say that whether it's Song Yadong or not, you are going to be fighting on that UFC 292 card? Because I saw you put a promo piece up saying 10 weeks out from 292. Is that your, no matter who the opponent is, are you training as if you're going to be on that card?
Exactly. Yeah, in my mindset, I'm fighting in Boston. Doesn't matter who it is. Realistically, it'll be Song. Obviously, saying what I won't want to do, I don't want to fight any further back than that. So it's kind of like, if it's not him, I don't mind sitting out and waiting for the right opponent. But that's the first I think I would want to fight back. Anything obviously forward ahead of me, I'm all for. But it's not looking like that. So yeah, my mindset is August 19th. I'm fighting, in Boston. In the next couple of weeks, I should have an exact contract that it's Song. But yeah, my mindset is stuck on that opponent.
I know. Of course, and I know he's one ranking back, but in many ways it's almost like an even playing field. So you guys are both coming off, both got 1-fight win streaks, number 6 versus number 7. It's who stays and who goes in many ways, and obviously that's the beauty of this fight. Any further back, and then you are taking a risk in the same way that you took the Yanez risk. So this is the perfect fight. If we couldn't get one higher to see who's next.
Exactly, it's exciting. It's a scary fight. We both have similar opponents in like Cheeto, obviously Ricky Simone. He looked great in that last fight, confident. He looked sharp, powerful. He was countering. He was going first. He looked good. And Ricky's tough. I've been in there with him. He's tough. So like to see how he kind of like played it and the way he did it and kind of like won the rounds throughout the fight and then finished him towards the end. It was pretty impressive. It is a different fight though, because it is the 3-round fight instead of a 5-round fight for us. So that definitely plays a factor. Yeah, I like it. I like this fight. I love it. I'm training my ass off. I'm getting prepared. I'm not sleeping on him at all. And it excites me, man. I got the goosebumps right now just talking about it. Like these type of fights, these scary fights, these are the fights we want, and it's not, again, I'm not, it's like I said, it's pretty much, it's like, it's not too far back, so I'm not risking that much. But a big win over him, a big knockout over him is gonna like put me right back into that conversation.
I love it. There you have it. There's your breakdown of this UFC's upcoming card: Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier in the main event, and also a couple, dare I say, of exclusive scoops from Rob on maybe who his potential next opponent will be and when that date will be. As always, if you got this far, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And Rob, I will hand over to you for the final word, my man.
Again, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And guys, stay tuned, man. So I was putting more of these shows out, and I should have a contract in the next 2 weeks. So hopefully, we'll see, man. If not, just get on Twitter, hound Sean Shelby, and tell him to get at us.